The upcoming consolidated primary election in Boone County will feature an interesting matchup. Fred Brereton and Daniel Arevalo will vie for a spot on the ballot as a Republican nominee for mayor of Belvedere.
WIFR News reporter Sydney Stoffregan talks to the Republican hopefuls who believe they have what it takes to take on such a critical role.
Fred Brereton is a familiar name to Belvedere residents. He held the position before. Daniel Arevalo spent time on the city council, but he's a relative newcomer.
Belvedere is more than a place. Belvedere is people.
I'm here of the people. Like, final say is the people are my boss.
Meet the Republican candidates facing off in the consolidated primary election for mayor of Belvedere. Fred Brereton held that seat from 1997 to 2013. He says he's bothered by some of the things he's seen in recent city council meetings.
Getting people to work together, creating a team environment. Once you do that and get a little bit more participation from the council, things start to work a little more smoothly.
Daniel Arevalo lost his second ward council seat in 2021 by a flip of a coin, literally. That's how they settled a tie vote. Arevalo says he's running for mayor to make sure every community member's voice is heard.
Everybody you might have different opinions, but at least you can grab a little bit of the information what they're speaking of and incorporate that.
Brereton hopes to help his community grow through marketing, showcasing the city of murals and highlighting its beauty.
In order to attract quality investment, I think you have to show that the community itself is interested in investing in its streets and sidewalks.
Arevalo agrees a deeper investment needs to be made in city infrastructure, especially downtown.
Bring more businesses, more mom and pop shops maybe. Hopefully that will entice people to be more proud of Belvedere.
Whoever wins February 25th will take on independent candidates, incumbent Mayor Clint Morris and Alderman John Albertini during the consolidated election on April 1st.
Thank you, Sydney. And the consolidated primary election takes place February 25th. You can find polling locations on the official Boone County website.